What's good, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and with the Clan War Leagues just around the corner, let's give you 5 of the best Town Hall 12 attacks that you can use going into it. Starting off here at number 5, the Queen Charge Hybrid. This attack strategy first requires you to focus in on your Queen Charge. Typically, the best way to do this is by using either balloons, baby dragons, sneaky goblins, etc. Even the Barbarian King can be used to control where your queen is going. Typically, what you want to do is you always want to look at where the CC is placed. As an example here, the CC can easily be lured by charging in for the Town Hall. You always want to take a look at those things and make sure that you're luring out the CC and getting value. You could use a Battle Blimp or Stone Slammer depending on where you're going to be using each of those siege machines. The Battle Blimp is better in most cases as it depends on the angle of your blimp, while the Stone Slammer usually works better if you're angling it near the Town Hall. In terms of this, you want to be able to make sure that you're using an early rage spell so you know that you're not going to have to really worry too much about too much damage, especially when you're dealing with the Town Hall and possibly even the enemy CC. Dealing with something like a Lava Hound is not too difficult. Just use a rage spell, poison, and that'll allow you to get through. Another main thing is if you see a super minion CC, it shouldn't be too much of a problem either, as long as you've got the free spells, the rage, and the poison. Now, you want to be able to get a little bit deeper with your Queen Charge. Next, what you want to consider is creating the funnel on the other side. You can bring things like Electro Dragons to control where your queen is going, or you can even use it to help create the funnel for the hybrid. But typically, you want to use the Siege Barrack, and if you didn't use the Barbarian King to funnel the Archer Queen, you could use the Barbarian King with the Siege Barrack for even more funneling. Overall, at that stage, you've cleared out 2 good areas, and now you can send your hybrid into the base. Typically, the easiest way is by sending your miners, then your hogs, and then your Grand Warden. In this case, using a heal spell early is a good situation, as you're able to keep the miners and hog riders alive, but in case they do split like this, you may want to use the Grand Warden ability. You could also bring in the use of a Headhunter to take care of the enemy queen, as the hogs are up front and the miners are in the back. But you can use that heal spell towards the back end of the base, which is why you want to use that Grand Warden after the first heal spell. You could then use those free spells on multi-infernos and also wizard towers to prevent too much splash from being locked onto the hogs and miners. That allows you to easily breeze through with the rest of your army for an easy and simple 3-star. Just make sure that you are using those spells correctly, even if that means you have to use a freeze for a single inferno. Next up in the number 4 spot, we have the Queen Charge Lalo. And you want to first start off by focusing on your Queen Charge. This is going to be a bulk of the attack. Typically, what you want to do is create the funnel for your Queen Charge by using the Barbarian King, maybe using a Baby Dragon or an E-Drag to create the funnel. But another smart play is by controlling where your Barbarian King goes. Using the Barbarian King can actually get you value like a multi-inferno, Eagle Artillery, Town Hall, etc. That way you can actually get a lot of really nice value rather than him just going on the outside. So while you're able to charge your queen in, another thing that the attacker noticed is while the CC is right here, the enemy archer queen is all the way at the top right here. It makes it a little bit easier for you to dictate whether it's worth it to bring headhunters or not. So as you're sending your queen in, another thing that the attacker noticed is that you could reach the Town Hall from the other compartment. So using a rage spell early to protect the queen, keep the healers raged up, and that allows the attacker to use the invisibility spell to protect the queen from any shots of the Town Hall. Now, the main goal after you get through the bottom-most part of the base or the beginning part is to get into the core of the base. Once you get into the core, that's when you should start your Lalo. That is exactly what's up next. So while you're pushing your queen in, start with your Stone Slammer. This allows you to go ahead and pretty much create a little bit of defensive funneling for your attack. You should be using minions as well right after that so you can get cleanup a little bit quicker. This is where you can start your Lavaloon portion. So if we kind of slow it down here, you'll see that you're sending in your first group into this area where you've got the air defense and you've got the queen. That's where you really want to send your first group in. Other than that, you're going to be using balloons to get rid of some of these outermost defenses. Using the Grand Warden ability and free spells over the multi-infernos and to protect the headhunters to get through if there is an enemy Barbarian King and an enemy Archer Queen can really help. Using the free spells against other high damaging outputs like the X spells and the Wizard Towers can really provide a lot of support, and getting the haste spells to go to defenses quicker is going to help you get those 3 stars a little bit more. Overall, this is really good. Just make sure to use your minions so you don't get any time fails, and you could even use a dragon in that Stone Slammer to help with cleanup or to take down an enemy queen, and you will get those 3 stars. Next up in the number 3 spot, we have the Zap Witches. So you want to start by using the Zap Quake. This is going to be going in for 2 Inferno Towers. Typically, you want to use the lightning spells around the Inferno Tower. That way you can get the most amount of damage on other structures, so you're able to create a little bit more of a funnel. The main goal of this is to make sure that you've got 3 specific buildings in mind as you send in the witches and the golems. You want to make sure that the Eagle, the 3rd Inferno, and the Town Hall are roughly in a line together. That way it makes it a lot easier for you to predict where you want to enter in. Typically, if you're going to be using this, golem placement is important. Having a golem go in on one side, one on the other, and having one go into the core is going to help you a lot. As you start to work your way in, you want to make sure that you've got your heroes to go in. Overall, at this stage, it's mostly just having the tankage from the golems and having the Grand Warden ability early for the log launcher specifically. That way you're able to get through most of the base and possibly open up the compartment to the Town Hall, or even damage it. But unfortunately here, it does pop early, so it doesn't allow any damage on the Town Hall, which is completely fine still. For the most part, when you have enough tankage going on one side of the base, typically you'll have enough witches on that side compared to going in on the other side. Using a jump spell as well to start moving in for the Town Hall as a way to save the attack is another great option, as after this point you really just have your queen or any abilities that you have left over, usually the Archer Queens. So you're able to get through the Town Hall with no problem, and you still have a ton of witches. At this stage in the attack, it's pretty much cleanup after this. The Town Hall, Eagle, and Multi-Inferno have all been destroyed, so you really don't need to worry about any other damage outside of maybe a giant bomb and a small bomb getting rid of your witches, but overall, it could still help big time. Overall, you just want to make sure that you are still getting through, having some cleanup troops like wizards if you still have some space for them in order to get some nice cleanup. But other than that, it's a very simple strategy, it's very easy, and this will get you 3 stars hands down. Next up in the number 2 spot, we have the Super Witch Smash. Starting off with this attack, you're going to start with the Grand Warden Walk. You're going to be using lightning spells typically to get through a multi-target Inferno. That way what you're able to do is speed up the process of your Warden Walk. This makes it 10 times better, and it's just going to make it so much easier when you start to use the Warden Walk. Now, you're not just stuck with just using the Grand Warden. Sometimes it might be a better option to use the Queen and Grand Warden in case you have a lower level Grand Warden in that case. So what you want to do after this part is next use the Barbarian King, Witches, and the Siege Barrack. This is going to be enough to create the other side of the funnel. One with your Grand Warden Walk, the other one with the use of your Siege Barrack, Witches, and Barbarian King, and your third one is going to be your Super Witches going into the base. That is the main focus. So having the Archer Queen go with the Super Witches as they start to work themselves into the base, you want to make sure that there is a funnel set and using a rage spell early enough. That way what you're able to do is get all of your troops to go in for the Town Hall. And being able to get to the Town Hall with those Super Witches, they are going to melt it, so especially underneath a rage spell. As you're able to work yourself across, you may even have the Hog Riders from the Siege Barrack. You could use a Grand Warden ability to make sure that you're keeping the Super Witches alive as they go into the core of the base, and having the Hog Riders really do speed up the attack, moving them on the back end side of the base, making it a lot easier, and you still have these Super Witches to provide a lot of support. You may even have the Witches still up, providing a lot of cleanup and speeding up the funnel, or speeding up the cleanup work while your Super Witches are smashing the interior side of the base. Overall, this can be used quite extensively, and for the most part, you mostly won't lose your Super Witches. You may lose one, but other than that, it is a very simple attack strategy to learn. But you want to make sure that you're able to control where they're going, and of course, have enough cleanup, even having some of those witches, to provide you that fast way to clean up, so you're able to get those 3 stars. And in the number 1 spot, we have none other than the Zap Dragons. This one might have surprised you. Overall, what you're doing with this attack is you're going to start off with the lightning spells. That way, what you're able to do is get through 2 different air defenses. 2 zaps, 1 quake to get rid of one, and doing the same thing on the other one. Getting rid of some other defenses, like maybe an archer tower, can also provide a tad bit more support. Now, your next major thing is to use your heroes. So you can start off by creating the funnel for something like your Barbarian King, so you can use something like a Baby Dragon to clear one side of the base. That way you can focus him on going in for something like one of the air defenses, and also getting rid of something like a Multi-Inferno if possible. But this is where you could actually use a split hero dive, having your king go in for one spot and your queen into the other. In this case, the queen's going to focus in on going for the air defense and the eagle artillery. This is a smart play to think, and this is something that you could do. It's really flexible because you don't always have to use both heroes together. You can use them as separate bodies in terms of being able to use your Sui hero and being able to move all the way in and going in for the eagle artillery and the air defense. Once you start to send them in this case, since you're sending them in right the way into the town hall, you don't need a battle blimp, you can bring the stone slammer. As you activate the town hall, however, you should use the Grand Warden ability to start moving your way across. That way you can protect all your dragons from the Giga Bomb, and you're able to still move yourself across. If you're dealing with sweepers, it can still be a pain, but you've got a heal spell in hand. In this case, the heal spell can be used on a large group of dragons to make sure you're still able to move through. You could even bring in the use of a Dragon Rider in the CC, which is going to help a lot when it comes to the back end side. Overall, this attack is by far really strong. Once you get rid of the air defenses, the main threat, and after you get rid of the town hall and the eagle artillery, the rest of the base is history. You can absolutely wreck it with the use of the dragons. Not much cleanup is needed, but overall, it can be a super strong army. It is super flexible, and that is why it is ranked number 1. And of course, you could use a battle blimp, but the Stone Slammer is definitely a better choice with it. Make sure to check out my previous video if you're still new to Town Hall 12 and you're looking for an upgrade guide, and make sure to also subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Don't forget to use code Corrupt. I'll catch you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.